We track the tropics. Do we have our second named storm of the Atlantic season? Not yet, but that seems to be coming very soon as we head on through the next couple of days. Here's a look at the enhanced satellite. It's the same disturbance that we've been telling you about here on Fox Weather all the way back to last week. Still just a cluster of showers and thunderstorms that's drifting off to the west fairly quickly. This has now been given a new designation by the National Hurricane Center, though, potential Tropical Cyclone 2. What it means is that although by definition it's not yet a tropical depression or a tropical storm in this case, but it will be, and it'll impact people within 48 hours. And what we're talking about, places like Venezuela, the Lesser Antilles, the Windward Islands more specifically, places like Aruba and Curacao. So here's the latest information. This bulletin was just issued at 5 p.m. Eastern time by the National Hurricane Center. Maximum winds 40 miles per hour. So again, you might be saying 40 miles per hour. Why isn't this a tropical storm? It would be given the name Bonnie. It'll eventually get that name. It doesn't yet have that well-defined center of circulation at the low levels. Once it develops that, by definition, it will be Tropical Storm Bonnie. It's moving off to the west-northwest at 18 miles per hour, being steered to the west-northwest by that powerful area of high pressure, strong Bermuda high. And that's important because it's going to drive this through the Caribbean Sea and eventually, looks like by the long-term forecast track, directly into Central America. Short-term, low wind shear and actually some deeper tropical moisture in place. Those are green signals. Green means go this time around. Here's the forecast track, very close to the coast of Venezuela. That's where some of the uncertainty long-term comes in. How much does this disturbance actually interact with land, which would, of course, weaken the system with time? This is the new forecast track, the very first forecast cone as issued by the National Hurricane Center. Want to show you this. Should this forecast verify, that would make what will eventually become Bonnie our first hurricane of the Atlantic season. That would be by the end of the week as it's approaching Central America, more specifically Costa Rica and Nicaragua. The issue, again, right here, that's where the uncertainty comes into the forecast. How much interaction with land does it have as it's passing by Venezuela? We'll be keeping you updated on this every step of the way here on Fox Weather.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great videos on the way, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all things weather.